Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. I did lose a little bit of track of what day today is, but that's okay. I'm back on track now. Yeah, it's Tuesday night. We're going to draw a dog tonight. It's going to be great. It's one of my favorite kind of dogs, Dalmatian dogs. Everybody who grew up watching Disney knows what a Dalmatian is. They're favorites of fire truck people. One of my favorite dogs. I just like the spots on them. I just like how I don't know. They look like a work of art. So I'm going to try to interpret that myself and see how it goes. So a couple of people in the room already. I want to give a shout out to Kid. We got Because I Can. We got Rome Dog in the house. That's enough for a party. Let's jump right in. So you guys know the drill here. I usually start off with like kind of like this Rorschach looking mess of watercolor whenever I'm doing a colored picture. I think this lends well to the whole spot dog kind of look and everything. Like those of you who have seen the show know how it works. I throw down some watercolor, just kind of like, creating clouds, like almost like an abstract pattern. You can see I kind of sketched out a little bit where I want the dog to be, but other than that, it's just throwing paint at the paper. And then over that, I apply a little bit of clear gesso, which gives it kind of like a sandy surface so that I can use my pastels. And that's all there is to it. That's it. Enough explanation. Let's just jump right in and start drawing this dog. Oh, we got Kevin in the house too. Cool. Yeah, the fire truck. I know Talk Kim well. Fire people. We love fire people here on this show. Firefighters. They help. You know, I don't think I've ever had any fires in my life and stuff, but the paramedics, all of that stuff, they've come a time or two, and I always appreciate when they do. So we love the fire people around here, firefighters. Um, I don't know if like they're required to have Dalmatian dogs or if it's just tradition, but they always seem to. Hey, we got Billy Shaw in the house too, Billy Shaw Jr. So yeah, the undercoat, like I mean, it's kind of hit or miss whenever I throw the watercolor at the paper and stuff. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Sometimes it doesn't turn out all so well, and I have to kind of work with it a little bit to get it to work. It's basic. I like to think of it as looking up at the clouds and kind of like finding shapes in them. And ever since I said that, I've been doing that a lot lately. Like not just clouds, but like bathroom tiles. All kinds of different things. I've been seeing dogs in all kinds of different uh, like patterns and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun. Once you start doing it, it's hard to stop. You just see patterns and everything. But that's okay because you know, that's how you become a better artist, I think. If nothing else, we're just a bunch of people with pareidolia, or however that's pronounced. We see things that aren't there and then make them happen. Um, anyway, that's the kind of concept behind this style of art. Just throw some paint at the paper, see if it looks like something. If it does, kind of like there's a what's the saying? The Texas sharpshooter. You guys ever hear of that? The guy who shoots up the side of a barn and then draws like a bullseye around where most of the bullets hit. Texas sharpshooter. That's how I kind of feel like with this style of art. You just kind of like throw some paint on the paper and then wherever it looks like a dog, that's where you draw a dog around it. Anyway, it's kind of fun. It's not exactly like that, but that's how I think of it. Seeing shapes in the clouds. Hey, Coop Art in the house. Nice, man. A lot of people in here tonight. Nice to see you guys. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the spring. I know it's in full bloom around here. Um, I've been out. You know what? I got to figure out how to do a live stream. Um, over like my cell phone connection or from like Wi-Fi at like the pub or something like that. Or even like Starbucks really, because I was looking at outside and I'd even do this in my backyard, except that I don't have much lighting back there. So like if it got dark or something like that, I don't think I'd be able to continue drawing. But yeah, I'm just loving this outdoor weather. I kind of want to just do more outdoor stuff. Uh, The other options is, I can go to like a coffee shop. I can go to like a bar. I can go to the library. I just kind of want to get out of this space. When spring comes around, I just want to go out somewhere. I've been kind of cooped up working on projects and stuff like that. Want to get out there in the sunshine. Been going for a lot of walks lately. Been enjoying, what little good weather we have. It's kind of sandwiched between a bunch of rain and stuff. I think that's the other problem. I have like a little bit of cabin fever from all the rain we've been getting, but you guys know how it is. The weather is just, today it's just nice out there. It's like, it's not too hot, a lot of sunshine. I'm not very good with sunshine, but yeah, it's nice to see so many people in here tonight. This is cool. Yeah, like I said, Dalmatian dogs have always been one of my favorites. Dalmatians and collies, like Lassie kind of dogs. Those are the dogs I always wanted to have as a kid. Um, and then I guess as I got older, I like the more fluffy kind of dog, um, which collies are, I guess. But like, like your labs and things like that. I always end up with a mud though, because I always end up with like a rescue dog from like a shelter or something like that. And I have never I've never actually considered getting a purebred dog, um, just because like I kind of like the idea of supporting shelters. But one of these days maybe. And if I did, Dalmatians would definitely be at the top of the list. They're just so cute. They're kind of lanky and skinny, but they're cute. I like them. Um, like I said, I've been watching a lot of Disney Plus lately, some of the old classics and stuff. I just watched what was it, Entangled, the Rapunzel movie, the other night. I want to go back and watch some of the classics like 101 Dalmatians. I've seen Snow White. I think I saw Cinderella. I'm not sure. But I'm going back through all the classics and stuff. So 101 Dalmatians is definitely on the list. Three rescues right now. Yeah, I think that's the worst. I mean, I'm not going to fault anybody for having a purebred or having paid, full price for a dog or any of that stuff. I get it, I really do. But for me, it's like if I can, keep a dog off the streets, I guess, or I don't know, like the right way to put it. But if I can, if I can give a nice home to a dog that may not have had one, then that makes me feel special. I think that makes me feel better about myself. Um, both my current dogs are from like puppy mills, so like somebody had a I don't know, they just were cranking out dogs, and they're rescue dogs from that, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. I love them. Don't tell them that; it'll get to their heads. But yeah, they're good dogs. Get a little bit of white in there. So one of the goals also with doing the background here is I didn't want like a white canvas. I wanted something that had a little bit of darkness in it. Not darkness as in, oh, it's so dark, I'm so sad, but like just not white. I didn't want a white surface for this. I wanted to have a little bit of color in here. And it's really hard to see, like the lighting in here always sucks. That's another reason why I want to go outdoors. I want to get some natural lighting. But the lighting in here sucks, but there is some good colors in here I think that match pretty well with the whole thing I'm going for. Spending a lot of time on this eye, but I wanted to get it right before moving on to something else. I think that's probably good enough for now. Hey MJ, how's it going? So hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I'm pretty excited about this week because at the end of this week is the May Fest Art Fair here in Lexington. It's one I actually considered entering. I might actually do that next year, just because I do have a body of work that I can show finally. Um, but I think it was like I don't know, like $400 per booth and stuff. So like I only wanted to like do it if I had a nice collection where I could sell that much. And I was too late to join this year, but I think next year I definitely will. But that's this weekend. It's always a favorite of mine because it's kind of like the start of spring for me, the way I look at it. So I'm looking forward to that. And then this past weekend, I went to watch Thunderbolts, which is pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. It's probably not for everyone, but I think that if you've kind of been feeling like the Marvel movies of recent days have been kind of like lackluster, this one's surprisingly decent. I enjoyed it. It was really good. Probably wouldn't say it's my favorite Marvel movie, not by a long shot, but it is really good. I would say that it's definitely a contender for one of the best since Endgame, um, which isn't saying a lot, but there has been a lot of movies out since Endgame. So, maybe that is saying a lot, but it's pretty good. I definitely recommend it. I would watch it again, and probably will when eventually. I probably won't see it again in theaters, but I will definitely see it when it comes back out on Disney Plus. But no, it's pretty good. I went and saw it on a Friday, which like not everybody can do that because of like day jobs and stuff like that. But if you can, I gotta say, it was really nice going to the theater on a weekday matinee. Um, there was only like I think one retired couple there with me, and then like one other guy or something, probably unemployed. um, and it was nice. Definitely recommend the whole matinee on a weekday kind of thing while you're like if you if you're into Marvel movies as much as I am, there has been I think at least once that I actually took off of work just so that I can watch a Marvel movie when it first came out. Those days are long past, but um, if you can, if you really want to see a movie and you get the chance, I recommend watching a matinee during the week. It's pretty cool. Jeremy, did you go to the Derby? Great question. Big thing around here in Kentucky is the Kentucky Derby. No, I did not get to go this year. I have been in the past. This year I did not, and I'm glad I didn't because it was a muddy mess. Did you guys see that on TV? It was just a big old pit of mud. Um, and I'm sure there were probably areas where you could duck in and kind of like escape the rain, but it was it was pretty bad. And I know how I'd be because, like, I always prefer the infield anyway. I've never been to the Derby, like up in the stands and stuff. I don't even know what that costs just because I enjoy the the infield so much. That's kind of my go-to spot if I ever even consider going to the Derby. Um, yeah, like it would have been a muddy mess for me, but that's okay. I mean, I probably still would have enjoyed it. I just didn't get the opportunity this year. Um, it was pretty cool. It was pretty exciting. The I picked the winners just out of the blue. I'm like, I have a good feeling about 8 and 18, or I think I said I have a good feeling about eight, even without the one or something like that. And then, sure enough, 8 and 18 came in first place. Well, first and second, which I thought was pretty cool because I don't always, I'm not always that great at picking horses. In fact, I kind of suck at it. But every now and then I get lucky. What about you guys? Did any of you guys watch the Derby? Are you guys into that? Um, I can't decide if it's like kind of a thing of the past, or if it's still something people are interested in. It's kind of like there's a lot of pageantry to it. There's a lot of like tradition to it. You see the celebrities come out and kind of like just, hey, I'm here, I'm a celebrity. But I'm wondering about like, the normal people, the people who don't live in Kentucky and aren't like just strutting their stuff like on the red carpet. I'm wondering if those people are into it because like you see things like the Christmas parade losing viewership, things like that. I'm just wondering. I don't know. Yeah, I could have won big. I could have. Those two picks together, probably. I don't know what the payout on that would be, but if you got them together like that, it'd be pretty decent. I'm sure it'd be more money than what I usually win, which is negative. You watched it on YouTube? Yeah, it was packed. It was pretty packed. Hold on a second. Issue. That thing about springs is my allergy. Yeah, I could have made the money. You guys know Packer Jack. Well, some of you guys know Packer Jack. He actually got the top three picks. He showed me before he made his bets, and afterwards I'm like, oh wow, he got all of them except well, he got the first three, and he had him like correctly. So like you can when betting on horses, you can choose to like win, place, or show, which is basically first, second, and third place. And he picked them spot on, like not just which ones would win, but their positions and everything. So he's a real winner. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, Packer Jack's a friend of the show. He came out here to Kentucky one time, and I got to meet him in person. He's a pretty cool guy. We went looking for treasure in Cherokee Park. The secret tribute. It was a lot of fun. So I got the eyes in here. I'm trying to get a nose in real quick just so that you guys have something to look at. For those of you who, I know that we're really just here to chat and stuff, but for those of you in the art side of it, the technique is that you start with this kind of Rorschach, kind of like ink blot kind of deal with the kind of an abstract look with the watercolor, and then from that you kind of build things up, and you build them in layers. I use pastel, but you can use colored pencils to do that. I've used colored pencils in the past to do this kind of stuff. But you just kind of basically build up layers over that watercolor. Now, when doing that, I don't like to fully cover up. I've been drinking a lot. You can tell I'm having trouble talking tonight. Um, but I try not to cover up all of the watercolor because I kind of want that to show through stylistically, and I want the watercolor to kind of stand on its own. But it is building layers over it, and the more layers you build, the more realistic it kind of looks. And that's basically the gist of it. But yeah, I start with like a solid color and then kind of build in some shadows to it, and then I'll probably come back with some highlights over that. Um, I like to think in terms of like at least three layers. Now, it may end up being more than three layers of stuff, but I always try to think in at least three layers. One is like a base, another is like a shadow, and another is like the highlights over it. Oh yeah, hey, there's my dad. Yeah, my dad and my brother were out there. They were working the uh, the Derby. They were kind of doing a catering type thing with some beer, like a beer thing. I don't know. I don't know how to phrase that, but it is kind of like catering. They were working a party. That's the other thing that's cool about it. Like if you guys lived in Kentucky, I mean, Derby Week is like a big deal. Like there are people who come from like all over to our fair state, and they have big parties. And basically, it's just great for the economy out here. Um, People show up for the Derby and they spend money, which is good because Kentucky's not the richest state. We don't have a ton of stuff that draws people here, but people come here for the bourbon and the horses for sure. Kevin says $2. Zacta paid $48. Dang, I would have made at least $48. Well, I probably would have spent $10, so that's like 48 times five or whatever. 150 something for a try. Ah, man, I could have made some money, guys. You know how much art supplies that buys? What's that? Where's that GIF? I was like, I effed up. I effed up. Yeah, I should have done that. That's the problem. I always whenever I do bet, I lose, and whenever I don't bet, I would have won. It's the same thing with the lottery. I mean, I've never picked like six numbers or something, but I come pretty close sometimes, and uh, it's always like you know I've never seen anything that like I always pick randomly. Like some people like when they do their lottery numbers, it's always like their birthday. It's always something they've always picked. I don't do that, but there are some numbers, like my favorite lucky numbers and stuff. I won't say what they are because they're in my passwords. But my my favorite numbers, I do often bet on the lottery, and sure enough, they come up whenever I am not betting, which is rough. I'm not a big gambler. I mean, I'm really not. I have gambled. I do enjoy going to like a casino or something like that, but I don't like actively seek it out. Like that's not a pastime of mine. Um, Probably because I can't really afford that kind of lifestyle. But I I've never really been that great at, but I have been getting better at it. I used to in my old job. I would go to Las Vegas for like a conference every couple of years, every 2 years really. And the first time I went out there, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be stuck here in Las Vegas for like a week, right? Like I need to know how to gamble, just because it's expected of you. You know, you don't have to gamble in Las Vegas, but it's kind of expected, especially if you're going with coworkers for like a conference. I mean, you know, unless they're like complete jerks, they probably would not care if you didn't want to gamble. But then also they're going to be gambling. So what do? You know, like you're going to be stuck up in your hotel room the whole time. So I wanted to learn how to gamble just so that I can participate with them. And the thing is, it's like I didn't have any kind of expectation of like being really good at it or like winning a lot of money. I wanted to be able to count cards, you know, and play blackjack. But I was quickly disillusioned to that. So counting cards with blackjack and stuff, it's like there is so much you have to hold in your head at one time. Like you are literally counting cards while all this stuff is going on around you. And it is not easy. It's not easy at all. So I kind of quickly gave up on that. But then I still wanted to be able to like be good at something. So I picked up roulette, which probably wasn't the best idea because roulette doesn't have the best odds. Um, but I got pretty good at picking roulette things while I was there, and then I kind of moved on to craps, which I highly recommend. So like if you're ever going to be in Vegas and you're not really a gambler, but you have to go because of some sort of conference or something, and you want to lose money slowly, which has always been my thing. It's like I don't have any expectations of winning. I just want to lose more slowly so that my money lasts. Because, like I said, I was going to be there for like a full week, and you know, I had a budget. I think it was like $400, and I didn't want the $400 to be lost in like one night. So it was all about losing money slowly, and I got pretty good at losing money slowly, which is basically playing the odds. So like if you play the odds in craps, it's almost a 50-50. It's not exactly 50-50. I think it's um, like 53 to the house and 47 to you or something, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. So I definitely highly recommend playing craps if you want to learn something. But anyway, point is, it's fun. It's just not it's just something that I spend a lot of time on. I do enjoy being at the casino for a while. But it's more like hanging out with others and drinking and things like that. It's not really trying to win or anything. Um, Ernest said, people charging drivers $50 to park in their yards. Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And like in Kentucky during the Derby, you just clean up from all these tourists. Alan says, you're better off drawing cards and counting them. I like it. Hey, I saw somebody draw like a suit of um, playing cards and stuff, or I guess it wouldn't be a suit of playing cards, but a set of playing cards, sorry, with a couple of suits in it and stuff like that. I might actually do that. I might actually create my own, maybe dog inspired cards. That'd be kind of fun. Some playing cards with like little dogs like this on it. I don't know. What would a Dalmatian be? Would that be like an ace? Sorry, I keep burping up my lunch or dinner. Sorry. This guy's looking pretty good so far, I think. Um, I think if I can just get his face out, then the rest of it's going to be mostly spots, which is going to be fun. So this is why I wanted to get like a lot of stuff in there, especially on the watercolor. It's just so that I can have like this line here show kind of a contrast to let you know where the nose stops and where the background actually is. So that was kind of important to me. Um, we got that in. Here I'm just using a colored pencil to kind of fine line that a little bit. All right, so that's fine for now. I kind of want to work on these ears just so that I know where the ears are as well. But yeah, the Derby is always a fun time here in Kentucky. Even if I'm not there and stuff, I try to celebrate. Like I got drunk the other night off of like basically homemade mint julep without the mint. I didn't have any mint. I have some mint out in the yard and stuff, but I don't know where the dogs use their bathroom, so I didn't grab that. But basically, a mint julep is just really just bourbon and simple syrup anyway, watered down bourbon essentially. So I did have a mint julep, and I did watch the Derby. It was pretty exciting, but I didn't actually go to the Derby this year. But it's always fun here in Kentucky. It's a big deal, you know. It's like I don't know. It's like the Super Bowl. Whenever the Super Bowl is going on, um, people watch it whether they're into sports or not, or whether they're into football or not. It's the same thing with the Derby around here. You know, it doesn't matter if you're into horses or not. You're gonna watch the Derby. It's just what people do. Dogs playing poker. Yeah, they're cooking for about. My dad said they were there cooking for about 500 people all day and dispensing 8 kegs of beer. I'm sure he had a few. Um, People who live around Churchill Downs charge for the yards. Other people charge shuttle services. So yeah, that I mean that's actually kind of interesting to talk about. Like if you've ever been there around Churchill Downs, it is kind of like it's almost like stepping back in time. It looks like you know the old South, really. The houses around there, the people around there, they kind of live in the shadow of Churchill Downs, and this is like their moment to shine. And like you said, they really do just kind of have this block party essentially out in their front yard, which just happens to be Churchill Downs backyard. So like if you live there, you can definitely charge a lot for parking for sure. Um, like it makes sense to like actually buy property. Like if you were buying property near Churchill Downs, that would probably be a consideration of yours. Like, I wonder how much I can charge for parking. But also, I've seen kids out there selling water bottles, things like that. It's just basically the thing is, it's not all inside of Churchill Downs. Once you leave Churchill Downs, there's a whole city of Louisville there awaiting you that it's kind of welcoming you with open arms and asking you to empty your wallet. Um, but that's okay. You know, you're a tourist in our town. Give up the money. It's fine. I imagine it'd be kind of similar if like it's always been on my bucket list to go down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Never been. I think it'd be awesome. I imagine it would be something like that. Hey, Sophia, how's it going? Jeremy, I hear it gets pretty wild during the Derby. Yeah, absolutely. It's a big party. Um, you know, not necessarily for me. I'm a good boy, but yes, the entire city is having a party. And like I said, it's all week long. It's basically Derby week. Like I said, I imagine it's the same in places like New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Trying to think of other places that have. Boston has like a large Irish population, so I would imagine it'd be like being in Boston for St. Patrick's Day, that kind of deal. Trying to think where else might have that sort of like citywide kind of thing. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. What other cities? Yeah, for the like the Boston Marathon or something like that. Um, what other cities in the United States just come out and have a big old party for like something like Mardi Gras or the Derby or something like that? I'm sure I could find one if I thought about it, but yeah, that's why I was wondering like how do other people see it? Because here in Kentucky it's a big deal, but then I'm also wondering like I mean it's 150 years old I think. think this was like the 153rd running, 154th, something like that. Anyway, 100 is a lot in terms of years. So I'm wondering like what other people think about it. Like, are they over it? Is it really a tradition out there? Um, I don't know. Like I know that I don't know. Kentucky's a little backwards in some ways. It's fine. It's fine enough, but in some ways we are a very backward state. Like even our theme song, "Old Kentucky Home," it's got some issues to it. The lyrics that they play during the Derby aren't all the lyrics. Those are the approved lyrics. Um, we are a little bit backwards in our ways. So I am kind of wondering like what other people outside of the state think of us. I mean, we don't care. We're still going to party. We're still going to have our fun. I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, St. Patrick's in Chicago. They dyed the whole river green. I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean they probably have a pretty big Irish population as well. I always think of Boston for the Irish, but Chicago is Chicago goes all out. And then the other thing that I don't know, we have a lot of basketball celebrations around here too. So like I'm thinking like whenever we win, they're well actually whether we win or lose, people are setting fires to couches. That's a big citywide thing here in Lexington, but and think yeah, I guess other places have these sort of traditions. I would love to go to like New York for something like New Year's, where you have like the big celebration on Times Square and stuff. That's always been on my wish list as well. But I know that would be a rough one. That would be one of those things where it's like hopefully you use the restroom before you went because you could probably be stuck there. Thanksgiving parade in New York. Yeah, Macy's parade. Yeah, yeah, for real. That would be a fun one to go to. I was living in Georgia and we went to a Macy's parade for Christmas, I think, one year as a kid. That was a lot of fun. I'm liking this dog from this side over. I need to make some more progress on this side, but we'll get there. Let me get some white up here. Like I said, this white is mostly to kind of like separate the dog from the background and stuff. So I'm gonna get some white areas in here and then a little bit of a highlight there. Problem is I think white is a bit much, so let me kind of blend that out just a little bit. There you go. That looks pretty good. All right, let me move over to this here. Even though I know it's since I put in this ear, I'm going to be like reaching across it, but that's okay. We'll make it work. No, not in New York, even Times Square. Yeah, I feel like that would be rough. That would be. There was a lady who used to pop in here who lives in New York. I should have asked her about it. But yeah, I imagine that would be kind of tough. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll just start with New Orleans for Mardi Gras. That seems like a doable one. I think that I would have a lot of fun just kind of wandering around. What I like about those type of citywide things is like you don't really have to show up with a bunch of friends. You make friends there, like because the city knows that you're there as a tourist, and it's kind of like the same deal here in Louisville for like the Derby. I've gone to the Derby and I've had to park like a mile or two away just because I'm a cheap person and I don't pay for parking. So I'll park like a couple miles away or whatever and walk there. And part of the fun is walking there with other people to see it, and you're like making friends. I mean, you're not making friends. They're like the single serving friends they talk about in Fight Club. Like they're people that you met, that you interacted with and stuff that you'll never see again. But anyway, it's still fun to be walking there. Everybody's in good spirit. Everybody's having a good time. they genuinely are listening to you and you're listening to them. Everybody's like in it together, walking there. So I like that kind of stuff, like where you're in it with a bunch of other people, everybody's having a good time, kind of like this camaraderie with a bunch of strangers. There we go. I like these ears, these floppy ears. Guinness has these type of ears. So do Bear to like a degree. I like them when they kind of flop back and they're like not in the right position. I always tell Guinness to fix his ear. Hey, Edie, video liked and just subscribed. Oh, thank you so much, Edie. I appreciate it. Yeah, if any of you guys are new here, I do appreciate you guys, subscribing, and I appreciate you guys just being here. Um, this is pretty much what we do. Uh, Usually twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, although sometimes I have to cancel because I got something else going on and stuff. But usually it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we draw all kinds of different things. Like I do draw like a lot of animals and wildlife and people's pets, things like that. Um, every now and then I'll draw something else, but whatever suits my fancy or something that helps me grow as an artist. I'm a self-taught artist. I've only been doing this for a couple of years now, and sometimes I pick subjects that kind of like challenge me as an artist. But anyway, we just hang out in here and we chat about whatever. Everybody's super nice, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, everybody, welcome Edie to the chat. You'll find that everybody is super welcoming in here, and everybody is like super nice as well. A great variety of people too, like all kinds of different things people chat about. Usually we get on food somehow, so expect that. So just a quick note. So even though I already had some dark areas kind of like blotted in from the watercolor, I'm kind of going back over that. And what's great about, like in this case, I'm using charcoal, but it's the same with pastel. What's great about this medium is it kind of blends in seamlessly with the watercolor that's under it. So like I said, I don't really want to distract from the watercolor. I want the watercolor to be what the watercolor is. But in order to get that abstract shape out and towards like a sense of realism, you kind of have to like blend these layers in and get some more concrete definition in there. So it's great to start with that watercolor and then kind of come back over it with these soft pastels, or in this case, charcoal, because it blends right in. And then you can get these kind of like spotted shapes that you see on a Dalmatian dog fairly easily. Where, Dalmatian's going to be kind of like mottled, uh, like spotted and not spotted areas. There you go. I don't know. I don't talk well. Like words not work. I don't know. Sometimes I can speak well. It's just every now and then I get a little tongue tied, especially when I've been drinking, which I'm. This is my second glass of bourbon. We do drink a lot of bourbon here in Kentucky. It's kind of what we're known for, but that's okay. We love our bourbon. So I kind of want to get the shading of this ear so that you can kind of see that it flops and has some shape to it. So even though this part isn't a spot, I kind of want to add a little bit of shading in there. Again, I don't want to take away too much. I want some of that watercolor to show through. I've got some purples in here. I've got some blues and stuff. Kind of want all that to shine through. But you got to get those spots in there. Got to get the shape of the ear in there and so on. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, kid. A lot of the people who are in here also participate in treasure hunting, like real life treasure hunting, like actually looking for gold and stuff like that, solving puzzles and stuff. It's kind of a neat community. That's a good point because we often get talking about food or treasure hunting, which is kind of weird for an art show. It's like every now and then we get somebody who pops in that like knows a thing or two about art and wants to ask about art. every now and then, but that's okay. Take them all. It's just a bunch of good friends just hanging out. Good company. Thanks, Coopart. I appreciate it. So hopefully you guys are doing well. I mean, like I said, we had the Derby here in Kentucky. Like, I'm kind of interested in what you guys got going on in your neck of the woods. Anybody taking any vacations or anything special like that? Enjoying the spring weather. We got a lot of our stuff around here is based on the horses, and we do have like art shows and stuff though. Like it's not all horses. I think here, yeah, like here this weekend, the art shows really kick off. We have a couple kind of spaced out. Like the beginning of spring, we have this Mayfest coming up. It's kind of on the smaller side. And then towards the end of the summer, we have a pretty big one. And then out in Louisville, we have another big one in the fall. So we have a couple of them spread out through the course of the year. Might go camping this weekend. That sounds exciting. I like that. Okay, Larry says Dalmatian looks adorable. My mom had one growing up. Oh, that's cool, Larry. Yeah, I always wanted one. I really have. Always wanted one. Like I said, I've always had a mutt, but if I ever had like a purebred, definitely a Dalmatian would be a contender. Might go camping this weekend. That sounds exciting. It's the weather for it around here. It really is. Not too hot, not too cold. Sophia says, just upcoming medical travel. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, I hope that works out well. Sammy Cat said, we had a bad storm come through Pennsylvania, lots of trees down. I work in a nursing home. We had no power for 5 days. It was awful. That sounds terrible. Yeah, we had some bad storms over the last couple of days too. Um, it's kind of weird. It hasn't really been like it has been nonstop raining for days, but it it doesn't feel like it rains anymore. It feels like it's just all torrential downpours now. It's like it's not even close to being normal rain. It's just really bad. I don't know. Maybe it's that whole climate change thing. I have no idea. But it's been torrential lately. And that's probably so like it's probably heading from Kentucky up to Pennsylvania, and that's you're getting some of that too. I don't know if that's anything new on our end though, because like we have been having trouble in the past couple of years with tornadoes popping up now and then. So I think it's just the new norm, guys. I don't think it's going to get any better. I don't know. I try to be an optimist. Maybe it will get better. If it gets better, it's not going to be anything I did. How's that for optimism? I have optimism in other people's abilities to make things better. Yeah, I'm just a pleb. I've got no power. I can draw pictures. That's about it. My work ended up on the news. Oh, that's interesting. What kind of work do you do, Sammy Cat? Is it because of the storms that they ended up on the news? Hopefully, like your workplace didn't blow down or something like that. Ernest Parnell is going to West Virginia for fried green tomato sandwiches. I heard that story. That's my dad, by the way. He is traveling all the way to West Virginia because he heard that they have a really good fried green tomato sandwiches out there. He's a nut. I get all of my weirdness from him. But that's the kind of thing I do. I'll go on like an adventure just to go on an adventure like that. Uh, okay, Larry says it's been dry here. Hmm. Oh, yeah, he's in Florida. That makes sense. Although Florida is always wet. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what I remember, so I used to live in Central Florida as well. And what I remember is that it would be clear and then torrential downpour, and then clear and then torrential downpour. And this would all be in the span of one day. Like you travel 5 feet and all of a sudden it starts raining. And then you travel another 5 feet and it's like no rain. Florida, it has the weirdest weather out of all of them. All right, so I'm trying to build up that cheek structure there, in case that wasn't obvious. Again, I don't want to go too far with this stuff. I don't want to take away from the watercolor that's underneath there, causing like creating a lot of the structure. I just want to kind of make sure all of this stuff gets in there. Oh, you know who's not here tonight? Kinsley's not in here. Kinsley likes puppies. We miss you, Kinsley, if you watch this later. And watering the garden and fruit trees. Nice. Sammy Cat says, I'm at CNA. It was because we had no power for all this. Oh, that's right. Sorry. That makes sense. That's a good reason to be in the news. Yeah, I can imagine like if you're taking care of people and you've got no power, that sucks. Hopefully they fix that pretty well. You said 5 days. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Nope. I guess they didn't fix that right soon enough. Well, I'm glad things are better now. How's that? I think Northeast Georgia is the rainforest because it rains all the time. Oh. That's a place I haven't been in a while. Maybe I'll go there sometime this summer. Georgia. I mentioned that I really love Helens, Georgia. Such a cool town. If anybody's looking for an interesting place in Georgia to go and visit, that's definitely a cool place. All right, so I got the basic structure of the face in there. Let me work on the mouth, and then we can start working on like jaws and stuff like that. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great on time. This is cool. I do need to put in some random spots in places. Like that's kind of the whole deal, but we'll get to that. I do like drawing dogs in this style. It's a lot of fun. I think that it's a cool style that kind of that does a good job of representing the dog. Um, it gives you a chance to kind of like highlight some key features of the dog while also being kind of loose and expressive. You don't. I don't know, like different people, different styles and stuff. But I've never really been into like ultra realism or any of that stuff. I'd rather have a little bit of fun and let the art kind of like stand alone, uh, and kind of like represent itself. Like I don't want the pictures I draw. Like it'll never happen. I'm not that good anyway. But I don't know. The eyeball I drew the other day, that was pretty realistic. But anyway, I wouldn't want a picture that I draw to be mistaken for a like a photograph. I know that sounds a little pretentious. I don't really expect anything to be mistaken for a photograph, but still, I wouldn't want it to either. I want it to kind of look like it's drawn, which I think my work kind of does. I think it fairly looks like somebody drew it, for better or worse. And that's good for me. I don't know. Like I always talk about maybe one day I'll try doing like an ultra realistic picture just to see if I can. I feel like that eyeball I did the other day kind of came close. It looked really realistic to me, but even there, I was making it look drawn as well. I was putting in like little stylistic elements, like I don't know, dripping tears or whatever. So, But that's just me. I mean, I'm not there yet where I'm not a good enough artist where I have a consistent style, but I'm getting there where a lot of the things I draw do look kind of like similar style. I do like putting in these like random spots. This makes me think of that. Oh, you guys wouldn't know this reference. The Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse character, the Spot guy. For some reason, I'm thinking of him right now. I might watch that movie tonight. It's been a while since I've seen it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is such a great film. If you're looking for really great animation, really cool style of drawing and stuff like that, such a great show. But if you're not into comics, then you're not going to appreciate it anyway. Miles Morales, it's such a good series. Like there's supposed to be one more that they're creating and stuff. Any you can I mentioned this before. You can grab any still from that movie and blow it up, frame it on the wall, and that's a beautiful piece of art. That's what I love about that. Actually that's what I like about modern animation anyway. The same with Arcane. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's lost on you. But that's another piece of animation that's really done well. Um, that's on Netflix. If you can grab any scene in that entire show, blow it up, frame it on a wall, beautiful piece of art. Georgia is amazing. Around Rome or Dahlonega, very northeast corner, Ernest. We all call him, well, I call him Dad, but I think he goes by Ernie more often. He's all formal in his spelling here. That's funny. Yeah, I did pan for Golden Dahlonega. I forgot about that when I was in Boy Scouts. A long, long time ago when I was a wee little Jeremy. I was in, crap, what, Troop 48089? Based out of Jonesboro, Georgia. Or Riverdale, Georgia, sorry. Yeah, we did panning for gold. I might still have gold nuggets from that when I was a kid. I don't know. I got some photos and stuff. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I always liked well, sorry, Helen's Georgia, not Delonic. Delonic is cool too. But I always liked Helen's Georgia because it's got this kind of like alpine um, kind of style to it, alpine Bavarian village kind of aesthetic, which I think is cool. Penny for gold still today, yeah. Hey, every trip I took out west and stuff looking for treasure, I always thought it'd be kind of cool to run into like some old cowboy treasure or go panning for gold and find some of that or something like that. I wasn't stuck on finding the treasure I was looking for. I was more than happy to take any treasure. It would have been kind of cool to just run into like, I don't know, Billy the Kid's stash or something like that. Or just be panning for gold out there and actually find like a nugget or something. I'm not picky. I just want gold. I'm joking, of course. What's the best BMX sprite for the price? Semicat asks, you ever draw nature like forests and mushrooms? I do enjoy drawing nature. I haven't had the opportunity to like really develop like my landscaping kind of skills, or like or even still objects like mushrooms and stuff like that. That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that question because now I'm kind of feeling like I need to, because it is something that I want to do. I want to be the type of artist that goes out in the woods and draws from nature. Um, I just really haven't had that sort of opportunity, and I've been drawing so many wildlife animals that I haven't really delved into like plant life or anything like that. Um, which kind of sucks because I really do want to do that. I want to do like trees. I have a particular affinity for bonsai trees, which are like the miniature trees and stuff like that. There's a couple at this conservatory nearby that I kind of want to like go and just draw. Um, but again, I haven't really had the opportunity to like develop those skills. The ability. I feel like I can draw some like forest life and stuff like that. It's just I haven't yet, So I kind of yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I do kind of want to do that. I appreciate that, Sammy. Yeah, that would be great. To spend some time with that, and maybe I will. Like maybe I will this fairly soon. Because like I go kayaking sometimes. I don't just go like hiking and stuff like that, but I go kayaking and I have a whole bunch of reference photos of like logs hanging over creeks with like mushrooms growing on it. Those would be all perfect for like inspiration and stuff. So yeah, I might do that soon. I'm kind of stuck. Not stuck. I enjoy doing it, but I kind of I've been mostly doing pets and like almost portraitures of pets. So branching out into that kind of stuff, that is really something that I'd be interested in doing. It would take me a while to do something that's really good though. It would take me a while to like build up to where I feel comfortable doing it during a live stream. Last summer I did start trying to do some landscapes and I just wasn't happy with any of the ones I was doing. Um, I felt like I could get better at that. I just haven't yet. So bear with me. Give me some time. I feel like I'm apologizing here. But I am kind of apologizing that I only do dogs. Well, I don't just do dogs, but I would like to do landscapes more. People have asked me to do landscapes. I've tried to do landscapes. I'm getting mixed results from that. So bear with me. I will be doing some more in the future. Give me a little bit on that. All right, ugh, this is where I screw things up. I'm gonna try to get spots in here. I just like, okay, so here's my technique for drawing spots on a Dalmatian. Basically, I grab my little blending tool, I put some charcoal on it, and kind of draw a blob, right? And if I like the shape of the blob more or less, which I do, I kind of like that one. This one's meant to kind of look like a reverse heart. I don't know. All right. So if I'm happy with those blobs, then I'll come back over it with some actual hairs. So just like gently put in some hairs in there. And then I'll try to blend those in, which I think is looking pretty good for as far as like spots. They look pretty realistic. This is how dogs actually look. Pretty happy with that. Let's see. Build up around this eye over here. Because I kind of wanted this to come across a little bit, almost like an eyebrow, sort of. I think whatever you draw will turn out amazing. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys are nice to me. You guys are so nice. Like I don't deserve an audience like you guys. I really don't. What I need is I need an audience that will yell at me and tell me that all my work is terrible. Because then I'll be like, oh no, it sucks. Get this ant crawling on this thing here. Well, I'm about to murder an ant. Sorry if that was anybody's relative. Um, but yeah, I need you guys to criticize my work so that I feel like motivated to like fix it. I'm just kidding. I appreciate that you guys are. I appreciate that you guys are so nice, honestly, because I have seen other people's YouTube channels and some of the people who watch theirs, and YouTube's not always a nice place. There are some people on YouTube that are not nice. They're very mean, and I don't know why they feel emboldened to like put people down. I don't, as long as it's fair criticism and stuff, I wouldn't be bothered by it too much. But I don't like how they treat other people. So I just wanted to like let you guys know that you guys are pretty awesome, and it has not gone unnoticed, and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm gonna let all of this marinate and work on his neck a little bit, I think. All right, so here I want to kind of like put in some spots just to kind of like separate the neck out from the head. Maybe a little bit more down here. Again, just kind of like, dog spots are going to be kind of random. So you can't really make a mistake here, I don't think. By you, I mean me. But I don't know, maybe. Kind of blend it in a little bit. You don't want to over blend it because you do want it to look like spots and not like shadows. So you kind of want it to be somewhat spot-like. I don't know. Get the end of this ear so that it doesn't, not confusing on where that ends. Yeah. Um, Ernest's kid once told us she lived close to where a particular movie was filmed, which had dueling banjos. Oh no! I know what movie you're talking about. Isn't that Deliverance? That was filmed in Georgia, wasn't it? Road Dog says, "Okay, I got you. I recommend you paint left-handed." Oh, that's tough. All right, let me try that. All right, paint left-handed. Well, first off, I'm not painting. I'm drawing. But here's the thing about it: you should be able to, if you're worth your salt as an artist, you should be able to draw with your non-dominant hand. I'm not very good at this. Obviously, clearly, I'm being gingerly here, but you're drawing shapes, right? And you need to. This is actually a great exercise. Okay, you need to abandon your muscle memory and work on what you actually see in observations and making marks that match those. So even though this is not my dominant hand, I should be able to, at least in theory, draw with it anyway. Because this is cheating. You're really supposed to be using it like a paintbrush anyway, right? So then it doesn't really matter what hand you use. So I'm not ambidextrous, but I should be able to very slowly, because I don't have the muscle memory there, draw with my non-dominant hand. Now, for all you know, I was left-handed to begin with, which is funny because my dad, who's actually in this in the room, hey, Tom's in the house. Hey, how's it going? Who says you can't have mushrooms in this piece? Yeah, I mean the dog could be looking at mushrooms. Um, my dad is actually left-handed. He's a bit of an artist himself, and he is left-handed. It's kind of fun to watch him draw because he draws lines in the exact opposite way that I do, which is fun. But yeah, there's really no reason why you shouldn't be able to switch hands if you're drawing properly. And actually, it's a fun exercise. Like if you are an artist out there and you are just kind of curious about trying things just to see how they go, try drawing with your non-dominant hand because you should be able to. And if you can't, then you really you should take the opportunity to kind of like practice doing that so that you can learn to, so that you're drawing the shapes that you see, not muscle memory. If that makes sense. But yeah, all of this bit through here, drew with my non-dominant hand, totally works. And just to show that I'm not cheating, it's just a little bit slower, but yeah, I can do all of this part as well. And it may not look exactly right and everything, but that's fine. It's just drawing patterns. Tom is a lefty. You know, it is interesting. Like I am kind of curious about the personality traits of left-handed people because Leonardo da Vinci, he was a left-handed artist. My dad's left-handed. I feel like in a different life I would be left-handed. Like I feel like I could have learned to be a left-handed artist. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why people end up, you know, drawing with or writing really with one hand versus another. I don't know how that works. I don't know if that's something we're born with or if it's something we learn. It is fascinating to me. So you throw like yeah, see. I love it when you guys are talking to each other. You guys have the most random conversations. Get some of that neck distinction in there. I do want to. So again, um, the great thing about pastels and charcoal and watercolor is that they all work really well together. They all kind of blend really well together. So like here underneath this chin, I kind of need to get some dark areas in so that I can kind of like draw some whiskers over it and things like that. Um, just to kind of like show the separation between the head and the background. And this this charcoal just blends really well into that watercolor, which is great. Yeah, is anybody else out there seen Thunderbolts? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought, everybody comes out for like an Avengers type of movie. Not everybody watches these smaller type films and stuff, but I think Marvel's back. I think that they're back to making good movies. I mean, we'll see with Fantastic Four, which is out later this year, but I really think that they're back making good movies. Fantastic Four is like they have to nail that one because like that's a big Marvel property. If they don't get that right, then they're toast. So we'll see. I have I have high hopes for them though. Hey Lorraine, how's it going? The nuns tried to change me from left to right. I don't know why I'm laughing about that. That's probably a very traumatic experience for you. I apologize, but also it sounds funny. Anytime somebody starts a sentence with the nuns tried to whatever, it's funny. I'm not a Catholic, but I feel like I could have been a Catholic. Um, I think that I think I would have made an excellent Catholic. Yeah, I kind of like this thing a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit of dark spots up into here just because it looks kind of weird the way that it is without any. It was my first rebellion. They tried to get you to use your they tried to get you to use your right hand and you rebelled against that. I don't know why. I get that more people are right-handed, but I don't know why that's one of those things where they would want you to like who cares, right? Like I get that okay, so most people are right-handed. They want you to be normal, I guess, normal, whatever that is. Um, but also like who cares what hand you use? I mean, like I said, my dad's left-handed, so I've seen how a left-handed person lives. It's not that different. Um, I guess they have to like on The Simpsons. Ned Flanders has a store for lefties where they have like left-handed scissors and so on. And you know, I guess that there's probably things like that out there where people have like special scissors for left-handed people. I don't know, but I see how people adapt. Like my dad, I use the mouse on the like right-hand side and stuff like that. I see him switch it over to the left-hand side. It's not that weird. I'm going to talk like, about him like he's not here, but the thing is, you can definitely tell a left-handed artist. I mean, not with any kind of like exactness, but you can definitely tell, um, to a degree, if a picture was drawn by a left-handed person. This is one of the fascinating things about like Leonardo da Vinci because he was left-handed, and you can see in his pictures. So I'm not gonna screw this picture here. I'll draw it in the margins with a pen. But so like a left-handed drawer or a right-handed person draws like that. You see how my diagonal is here? So I draw like that. I'll shade like that, right? A left-handed drawer, let's see if I can do it. Left-handed drawer is the exact inverse. So I can't. You see, I'm having trouble with it. But a left-handed a left-handed person does a right-handed person does from the top right to the bottom left when shading, right? When hatching. The left-handed artist does the exact opposite. So from the left side to the right side. I once asked my dad to draw a cube, right? So like if I drew a cube, it would be like this, right? Three-dimensional. I once asked my dad, who's a left-handed person, to draw a cube. He drew it without even like me prompting him, just how he draws it. He drew it like this. And that felt natural to him to draw it like this, where it felt natural to me to draw it like this. Left-handed people and right-handed people literally see the world differently. It's amazing. It's not like it's like big deal. It's not like one of us right and the other one's wrong. Um, but it is notably different. I find it very fascinating that you guys experience. Well, I shouldn't say see the world differently. You guys experience the world differently than right-handed people. It's just it's the weirdest thing. So I don't know what that means, really, but it is something that I find fascinating. You know. Yeah, well, Sophia, I don't think anybody who's left-handed is stupid. In fact, some of the smartest people. Look at Leonardo da Vinci. He was left-handed. He's a freaking genius. That guy was one of the smartest people of his time. Um, he was like the Steve Jobs or something. Well, Steve Jobs isn't perfect, but no, I mean, it's just different. It's so odd to me. But it's just like this little exercise here. So like I naturally draw a cube like this, and my dad naturally draws a cube like this. How is it that we see the world differently? It's so weird, or experience the world differently at least. So anyway, I found that fascinating. But yeah, you can definitely. I mean, it's not perfect because sometimes artists train themselves to draw like differently, but falling to their natural state, like without thinking about it, without trying different, like some artists will draw like this and like draw all over the place and stuff. But by and large, righties draw like this, lefties draw like this. It's just the way it works. You write cursive with the hook grip. Hmm. You guys are comparing notes now. I fostered a conversation. That's great. Lefties chat among yourselves. I don't know. I just think it's fascinating. I don't think I probably would have thought it was that fascinating, but those of you from the Forrest Fenn world, um, I was trying to figure out what illustrations in the book were drawn by Alan Polt because I went to his website and I saw that he was a left-handed painter. He was painting with his left hand, and I'm like, oh, that's very fascinating because I didn't know this. But you know, if he's left-handed, then that means he's going to draw in a particular way. So then I started looking at the illustrations and I'm like, well, which of these are drawn by him? And It's very subtle and it's very difficult to find them all, but you can actually tell, in my opinion, which ones were drawn by Alan Polt, and then at least one of them wasn't. You know, at least one of those pictures was not drawn by a left-handed person. I found that fascinating. You know, what does that mean? I don't know. At this, you know, in 2025, it doesn't mean anything because that treasure was already found. But back when I was looking for it, you know, that kind of stuff mattered. So I thought it was fun. I thought it was very fascinating. I like Dalmatians. This guy's cute. Only 10%. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, you know, when such a small percentage of the population is left-handed, you know, that's kind of interesting as well. Yeah, like I said, Leonardo da Vinci was left-handed. Um, I think a couple of other brilliant people. Like I looked into this stuff, and it was pretty fascinating to me. But I think that I think there was quite a few people who are super smart, like smart people who are left-handed. Like I think left-handed people are the geniuses. I do have a high percentage in this chat. Why are there so many left-handed people in this chat? I actually think that left-handed people are drawn to art. So I think that's interesting as well. I don't know what so while 10% of the general population are lefties, I think it's a higher percentage when it comes to artists. I think there are quite a few left-handed artists actually. Like I don't know. I don't want to draw any generalities that aren't true. You know, I don't know, but I think left-handed people are more likely to be artists than right-handed people. I don't know, maybe. All right, I'm going to use this colored pencil to see if I can make some whiskers and see how that works. I don't know if this is going to show up very well. Yeah, that shows up. Cool. The problem is I can't always get these things to be all that opaque. I have to really bear down and you know, over the other stuff. It's a little bit challenging. Um, so I am cheating using a colored pencil. Theoretically, you could use pastel if you wanted to keep it consistent, but you know, I'm already using watercolor, so it's already a mixed media picture. So I'm not actually being a purist here. So I think it's fine. Um, the reason why this works, just you know, noting, is that these colored pencils, these Prismacolor pencils, I think all colored pencils, but I'm not sure, are wax based, and the wax just kind of lays right over all this stuff. So I find that these pastel pencils, you can sharpen them to a certain degree. I don't know, maybe other people are better at this than me, but I basically whittle them. As you can see, well, it's kind of hard to see, but as you can see, that is not something that came out of a pencil sharpener. That is me. Here, I'll show you. I've got this rather imposing knife here. Okay. So, like, you know, basically a switchblade knife. I use this to sharpen my pencils. Um, it doesn't actually sharpen pencils very well. As you can see, it looks more whittled. So you don't get that kind of fine point. Now, what you could do is you could use this on like sandpaper and kind of like bring it to a sharp point, but then it becomes very brittle. So I like to just leave it like this basically and get an approximation of detail out of it. All right. And then if I really care, which most times I don't care about getting this level of detail, I'll come back over with like a very sharpened, as you can see, I got a decent point on that because I can use that in a regular pencil sharpener. Um, you know, I can use this to actually get the kind of detail I want out of it. But usually I don't bother. I kind of like the painterly look where things are kind of like, as long as you're like a foot away, things look pretty realistic or, you know, detailed. But yeah, it's just, you know, another tool in the belt, I guess, just to let you know about those things. Hey, Ernest Parnell, are you an artist or a treasure hunter? He was my partner when I was looking for treasures. Sometimes I brought my brothers out with me, but my dad always went out with me. So he was kind of my search partner. Um, when we were out hiking around the Rocky Mountains, my dad was in his late 60s, I guess. So he was kind of my approximation of an elderly man. So like, I would uh, I would always look at him like, "How you feeling there? Do you think that somebody could have hiked up this far if like he was in his 80s?" Because like we were looking for Forrest Finn's gold, and Forrest Finn was 80 years old. So it's nice to like have my dad out with me because like climbing a mountain, you don't know. I don't know. Can an older elderly man do this? Yeah, my last name's Parnell. Jeremy Parnell. As long as I can remember, unless I was switched at birth. My dad likes to make the joke that my older brother was adopted. I was a test tube baby, and then I think my younger brother was I don't remember my younger brother's thing. Anyway, he doesn't claim any of this. He's been telling me that joke all my life. I do like being able to switch to this color pencil here just to get some of these lines in. Yeah, we're supposed to actually do a live stream together. Kid has a good point. My dad actually is an artist as well. I've got some old pictures. I don't have them handy, but I have some old pictures that he drew like back in the 70s. And he's a he's a little out of practice, but yeah, he was an excellent artist when he was my age. And yeah, I'm not saying he's not good now. I'm just saying that like we are going to have a live stream where he's going to draw something, I'm going to draw something as well, and kind of like do a side by side. We just haven't gotten to it yet. I don't know how that would work in this cramped space. So like that's one of the reasons why I have to figure something out. Maybe we'll do that at the pub. He likes to go to the pub with me. He's like my pub buddy. So we'll uh we'll get that worked out, and then we'll have like a little dual drawing session. So you see this colored pencil does really well for like just throwing in some like light lines over things. I do this often with my other like pen and ink drawings and stuff like that. I use like a gel pen. This is kind of like my gel pen for this picture. I don't really like using the colored pencil because I feel like it's cheating, but it works in this case, and I don't really think it's cheating. I'm just saying it's cheating. All right, let me look at this and see what else I can get in here. Fix some of these issues here. Like I'm not happy with this eye. So I get kind of quiet when I'm working on details. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but whenever I'm fixing something, I like get super quiet. The thing is, after I'm done with my live stream, I come back sometimes and I fix things and like off camera and stuff like that before I actually post it and stuff. And then I'm used to like just either being quiet or talking to my dogs at those points. like I do appreciate, so I don't say this enough, and I really should. So let me say it now. I do appreciate you guys having, um, like sharing this live stream like opportunity with me. So it's like it's fine to go off and draw pictures on your own and like, I don't know, share them at like a later date or something like that. But I do feel like art should be public, or at least I enjoy art being public. I appreciate art being public. I appreciate having somebody to talk to while I do art. Um, like, yeah, sure, I guess I could do these pictures and then like present them at a later date to people and get feedback then. But I like drawing in public. I think that that's good for me. Um, it's just a person really, but also as an artist who is developing. Um, I think I think you guys being here and stuff makes me be a better artist, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like I would be creating half as good of work. I mean, I'm not saying my work's perfect or anything like that. I'm just saying that I think my work is better because I have an audience. If you guys weren't here, I would probably be cutting corners, not really caring. Like, I would draw this picture and be like, I don't know. I'll just throw it in a drawer. Um, Having you guys here keeps me honest when it comes to creating these pictures. So I don't know. I don't always express appreciation the way I feel. I always feel appreciative. Um, so I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to say thanks because I genuinely do appreciate you guys. Because again, I don't think I'd actually do it if you guys weren't around. Like there are times when I'm like I don't really feel like doing this and stuff, but then I remember, well, people are wanting to see this, so let me go ahead and do it. And then you guys being here and stuff makes me Jeremy finishes everything at 3 a.m. That is a true story, honestly, or the next day sometimes. But no, sometimes I shut off the camera and everything, and then like I just work on it until 3 a.m. That is a true story. I've done that in the past. I don't like anything artificial. You guys are talking about that thing. Jeremy, yeah, kid. Then his dogs wake him up at 5. That is a true story too. I don't like it. My dogs are mean to me. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this. How are we doing on time? We're getting close to being done. I just want to, because it is a color picture and it is largely black and white here. I do kind of want to like come back with some of my colored pastel and just throw in some areas of color. I don't know if these are going to show up very well on camera in this lighting and stuff, but I think that these are important. So it's not all black and white. I'm not doing a charcoal picture here. I am doing a color picture. So I find that when you're doing a white subject, like Dalmatians are primarily white, it helps to have like a blue, kind of like capturing the ambient environment. So I keep whenever I'm working on like a blue dog or a white dog, sorry, I keep the blue pencil handy because it's a nice little shadow color, kind of like a mid-tone shadow color. And then for um, deeper tones, come back to purple. So I got 3 colors going on here. I know they don't really show up very well on camera, but I've got black, white, blue, and purple. Sorry, that's 4 colors. Well, black isn't technically a color; it's the absence of color. So I've got, yeah, and I think they work really well together. So you got the blue mid-tone sort of, and like kind of like this purplish, yeah, it's kind of purplish, going into the black. So I think those 3 colors work well together. And then just kind of going over these things actually lets you kind of cover up some mistakes and stuff like that. So it's good. And having color in a picture does give it like these like little areas of visual interest. So it all works together. And again, like I said, the whole goal is to build up layers so that it looks realistic. So if you have like, a couple of different colors and stuff, you are able to build up those layers. So like adding a little bit of blue there, and then you got the white over that, and then you've got the black lines, all significant amount of detail. Yeah. And then I do like adding when a picture is this cold, I do like adding a little bit of warmth to it. So I'm going to use this like orange a little bit throughout, just to kind of warm it up a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to see this stuff, but I'll post a picture on the community tab tomorrow, and you'll be able to see some of the subtle color changes. So like you've got mostly cool, but then every now and then you get this little splash of like warmth with this orange. I think that kind of brings it together. I don't know. Sometimes I like just going through and just adding color for no reason. It's like I'm like, well, this area is a little boring. Let me add a little bit of color through here, and that's the sole reason why I'm doing it. Again, I don't think that that's the proper way to do things. I think you should probably do things with a little more thought and stuff. But sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I think it looks cool. All right. Let's see. Got this, I think. I feel like that when it comes down to here, I do like to kind of just smooth things out because it is meant to be like abstracted out. I don't know if that's a real proper term, abstracted, but yeah, what I mean to say is that this area down here is meant to be like abstract. So the style of art is called abstract realism, um, where you have like the abstract background, you have like little various abstract areas of the picture, and then it kind of moves into like realism in the like face area and stuff like that. So I do want this area down here to be abstract. So if it is too detailed or if it makes too much sense and stuff, I want to kind of blend that out. Rumdog says, looks great, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Tom says, Jeremy, I can't draw, so I really benefit from your talent and streams. That's an articulate, but I get a lot from your art. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, even people who aren't into like drawing or whatever, I hope that you guys just enjoy hanging out. Um, sometimes when I don't get a lot of views, like this one's doing okay. You guys are a decent audience out there. I appreciate you guys. Hello. Even when I don't have a decent audience and stuff watching me and stuff, um, I'm like, well, maybe it's me. Maybe it's not my art. Like I try not to sit there and think, well, my art sucks. I try not to like get into that trap, because that's not good for a person who is trying to develop. Um, I think like, well, maybe you guys just don't like me or something. Like maybe I'm stupid or like have boring conversations or something like that. Which I don't feel like you guys think that, but if you guys don't think that, then hopefully you guys just enjoy showing up to talk with me, which is kind of cool. Uh, I do like using this colored pencil to make like more defined lines. I think that the winning combination, I don't know if I've perfected it yet. Yeah, Bear is saying it's time. I'm going to wrap this up soon. I'm almost done. Um, I haven't. I'm not sure I've perfected it, but I do feel like this combination is pretty good for mixed media. So, you know, first off, I'm using paper, which is great. I don't have to worry about canvases or any of that jazz. Um, the watercolor for like the general background. the pastel for like developing the work and getting like some form in there. And then like a colored pencil if necessary for like detail. I think that that's a pretty winning combination for mixed media. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think this works? I'm kind of curious if anybody else out there actually does this. Does the watercolor slash pastel slash colored pencil thing? Or, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. They probably do something similar. I don't know. Hey, like even if people happen upon this at a later date, if you guys do this technique where you do watercolor, pastel, colored pencil, or something similar to it, drop a comment below. I always forget to ask people to drop comments. This is a great one. If you guys do something similar to this, I want to know so that I can like maybe learn from you. Drop a comment below about how you do this technique and what you guys think of it. That'd be kind of cool. Learn from some other guys out there who are doing the same thing. I've seen people do watercolor and colored pencil, which is a good combination as well. But that pastel, I think, and the watercolor, I've seen people do that. But the three of them together in this particular way, I don't know. It might be unique. We'll see. But drop a comment below. Drop a comment below anyway. Like if anybody is out there who has a pulse and wants to say something, drop a comment below. That would be nice. Anyway, I think I think we're about done here. Hopefully you guys appreciated this. Kind of a little bit darker on the color palette, but I think it works for a Dalmatian. Dalmatians are kind of like a little bit you got black and white. That's basically a Dalmatian. So you're going to have some darker areas for a Dalmatian, but I like this color combination. I think this is a good one for my collection. Hopefully you guys think so as well. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Bear wants her biscuits. Yeah. Looks beautiful. Why do firemen have Dalmatian mascots? Kid says why? To spot fire. That's pretty good. I was just wondering if it sounds like a good joke. Yeah. Why do firemen have Dalmatian mascots? To spot fire. Get it? Spots. Anyway, I think that's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. This was a fun one. I really like how this Dalmatian turned out. Like I said, I do sometimes tweak these things overnight. I don't know what all I might tweak. Bear's got some comments. I don't know what all I might tweak on this, but I might. We'll see. But I hope you guys appreciated hanging out with me. I appreciate all of you. Tom says great art stream. Thanks, Jeremy and everyone else. Always a great time. Rum Dog says, was that the answer? It was the guess. That thing does a great answer. Like so that they can spot fire. That's perfect. That's hilarious. All right. Anyway, yeah, the doggy needs attention. All right. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will be. Sorry. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will be back on Thursday with something new. Probably another dog. I'm enjoying doing dogs. So I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Bye. Thanks.